Imagine receiving a life sentence in a heavily fortified prison surrounded by towering walls that seem impossible to breach. Would you accept your fate, or would you attempt the unthinkable? Today we'll explore the story of two prisoners who refused to surrender to their circumstances. These men were dangerous criminals, serving life sentences in one of the most secure prisons in the United States. Despite numerous failed attempts and countless obstacles, they kept devising bizarre and ingenious plans to escape. Let's dive into their thrilling story. The events of this tale took place at Clinton Correctional Facility, also known as Dannemora Prison, named after the small town in northern New York where it's located. Dannemora is a maximum security prison, one of the most heavily guarded and fortified in the country. Such facilities house only the most hardened criminals, including murderers and violent offenders. What makes Dannemora unique is its location. It's situated in the middle of a small town with a population of about 5,000 people. Unlike most high-security prisons, which are built in isolated areas, Dannemora is surrounded by residential neighborhoods, making its presence even more unusual. The prison is encircled by a massive 9-meter-high wall, reinforced with concrete and steel. The wall is nearly 2 meters thick, making it virtually impenetrable. Watchtowers equipped with armed guards monitor the perimeter 24/7. Adding to the prison security is its mountainous terrain. The walls are built on solid rock, making underground tunneling impossible. In short, Dannemora was designed to be escape-proof. But who were the prisoners determined to break free from this fortress? The first prisoner was Richard Matt, a convicted murderer serving a life sentence. Known as the hacksaw, Matt earned his nickname after dismembering a victim with a saw. In 1997, Matt kidnapped his employer, locked him in the trunk of a car, and drove around for 24 hours, periodically stopping to torture the man in an attempt to extort money. When the victim, an elderly man in his 70s, died, Matt dismembered the body and dumped it in the Niagara River. After committing another murder in Mexico, Matt was arrested and extradited to the U.S., where he was sent to Dannemora. Over the years, Matt became obsessed with escaping, often discussing his plans with his daughter during prison visits. Matt's partner in crime was David Sweat, a career criminal with a history of prison breaks. Sweat had been in and out of prison since his teenage years, but his most notorious crime was the murder of a police officer. Sentenced to life in Dannemora, Sweat spent 12 years honing his skills in the prison's workshops, where he learned carpentry, electrical work, and other trades. Sweat's cell was next to Matt's, and the two quickly became friends. When Matt shared his escape plans, Sweat was eager to join. Their initial plan was straightforward. They would unlock their cell doors, sneak into the prison yard, and climb over the wall at its weakest point. However, this plan had significant flaws. First, they needed a way to open their cell doors, which were secured with specialized screws requiring a torque screwdriver. Second, they needed a way to scale the towering wall. To obtain the tools they needed, Matt turned to Joyce Mitchell, the supervisor of the prison sewing workshop. Mitchell, unhappy in her marriage, was easily manipulated by Matt, who convinced her to smuggle in the necessary tools. Using a pair of headphones, Matt smuggled the torque screwdriver bit into his cell. However, after days of attempting to unscrew the cell locks, they realized the plan wouldn't work. Undeterred, they devised a new strategy. They would escape through the ventilation system. Each cell had a vent, leading to a network of tunnels known as the catwalks, which housed electrical wiring and plumbing. Sweat, who had worked in the tunnels before, knew the layout well. To cut through the vent covers, Matt convinced Mitchell to smuggle in hacksaw blades. Using the blades, Sweat and Matt spent weeks cutting through the vents, working only during noisy periods to avoid detection. Once the vents were open, Sweat began exploring the tunnels, eventually discovering a network of steam pipes that led to a power station outside the prison walls. The pipes passed through a thinner section of the wall, giving them a potential escape route. Over several months, Sweat and Matt used smuggled tools to dig through the wall, eventually reaching the town's sewer system. On the night of June 6, 2015, they made their escape, crawling through the pipes and emerging in the streets of Dannemora. However, their accomplice, Joyce Mitchell, failed to meet them as planned, leaving them to flee on foot. The escape triggered a massive manhunt, involving over 1,500 law enforcement officers. After 23 days on the run, Matt was shot and killed by police, while Sweat was captured near the Canadian border. Both Mitchell and a prison guard, who had unknowingly aided the escape, were arrested and sentenced to prison. This daring escape remains one of the most audacious prison breaks in history, a testament to the lengths some will go to for freedom. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible stories. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.